Hello, white America, assassinate my character. Money matrimony, yeah, they tryna break the marriage up. Who gon' act phony or who gon' try to embarrass ya? I'ma need a day off, I think I call Ferris up. Bueller had a Mueller, but I switched it for a Miele.
What episode we got today?
We got episode 6.
Oh yeah, we got episode 6 and we got a special guest with us today. She used to be known as Big Power Yoga, sometimes as a Congo maniac because she's shredded now. She's all over the place wearing Congo gear to Greece, the world, Houston. Nancy Perry.
Hi, Dose.
Welcome to the Daily Dose podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
It is an honor to have you here because, well, I tell people all the time what I love about the podcast is, especially moments like this, you know the brand, you support us, you know our family, but we never really get to have this.
Yeah.
It's just 5 reps, 7 sets, push, couple yoga jokes here and there, and then nothing else happens from it. So I'm actually excited to actually hear more of your story other than just from the gym side of it, and also to hear about your Greece trip. So she was on that trip with Halima when Halima was on the last podcast, and Halima was the 1-year anniversary last week.
Yeah, it was so awesome. And I listened to both of those.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're
Yeah,
an avid listener.
absolutely.
Nice. And I remember I hit you up last minute. I was like, hey, I know it's last minute, but would you be available at 1 today? Because you popped in my head because I'm like, the talking point was Greece. And she's probably already told you, but that trip has changed her life. And for that, I want to say thank you.
Oh, man. Well, thanks for saying that. And,
yeah.
and thanks for sending her with us. It's like Halima is one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Life changing.
And yeah, to get to be there with her was it's transformational for everyone. And I'm so happy that she felt that too. And that y'all get the be on the receiving end of that.
Hell yeah. So you can tell I'm wearing a hat because I never wear hats. I think you probably ever seen me hat maybe once or twice.
That's why I said when I handed it to you, I said, I don't expect you to wear this.
But I told her I'm going to wear it for the start of this show. Now I'm going to flip the switch, go over the top. If you can turn the camera angle. If not, Naeed, you can tell Aaron to put the over the top scene right there. Don't mess that one up or you will be fired. She's an avid Congo maniac, so she's going to know all of our sponsors. We have Legends. Also, does Justin Perry know about this Legends discount code?
I can't believe I even haven't told him about it. No.
Anyways, Justin Perry, we got you, man. We got the Legends discount code. It is a new code. It's a new option that you got to select and input because there's a lot of scammers out there and they're taking our stuff. So make sure Justin gets on that discount code. Sebastian Plumbing, we love Sebastian, don't we?
We love Sebastian, and he's a yogi.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, that's how he found Congo, was through Cali.
See, that's why I didn't even know this.
Yeah, he's a yogi.
Awesome. Well, look at the world putting great people together. Diane Ginsburg.
Well, we love Dr. Diane.
We love it.
We love Dr. Diane.
She is the Congo doctor.
Yeah, she is. She's absolutely amazing. You need to go see Dr. Ginsburg.
Anybody I'm missing? Oh, Phoebe Warren, Compass Realty.
Also the best. What a badass and one of the kindest people I know. And just so inspiring.
See how cool it is? Like we can just list a name, and because of the circle we're in, both this person. And what I love about that is affirmation that, us as a brand, we're doing something great. And you mentioned that's how Sebastian found out about us. Before we take this toast, that's what I want to get to know. How did you eventually find out about us? And you guys were such a big supporter of Congo. And Congo became Big Power Yoga, and these maniacs, we took off to the stratosphere, brother.
100%.
But you were kind enough. We were literally out of tequila.
No way.
What I was going to do was, and I'm like, these are the last 2 people that probably need pre-workout. I made a mango pre-workout. I was like, this is going to be in place of our tequila today because I wasn't going to give you the last little tidbits of what I had. I was like, no, she's too important and I don't want to give her the scraps. So she walked in kindly. What did you get us today, Nancy?
So this is called Casa Dragones, and this is the añejo. Okay. The añejo, I don't know what we would call it. Variation is the word that's coming to my mind, but I have 2 good friends. Their names are Johanna and Steve Donson. They are incredible people in my life, and Johanna and I actually share the same birthday. They've just been awesome humans to me. And Johanna is from Mexico, and Steve, her husband, also they love tequila. When I knew I was coming here, I texted them. I said, "What is an excellent tequila I can get for my friend Dose?" And they said, "This is the one to get." So I went, sought it out, and brought it. So it's speaking of community and recommendations, it's a recommendation of a friend. So hopefully it's excellent.
We're gonna find out.
We'll find out.
In real time. Yeah. Oh yeah. We got the custard. Let's open this box. Yeah. This works out so perfect. And I tell you what, Nancy, I would have never thought in a million years that I'd be running through tequila bottles like I'm running through, and it's cool because I get this. Like I think Samina was the first one when she came to the house, and she was like, "I got you your tequila." I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And then I just keep racking the tequilas.
That's so awesome. I know when we were in Greece, Halima was trying to find, and she brought called Rocky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was trying to find you something there too.
And how crazy is that? She was across the world. She found something, brought it here, and we got to experience all that from over there to here on a podcast.
Yeah. And she told the guy there that she was buying it from about the podcast. So
yeah,
maybe they're listening.
It's awesome. All right. Like I said, we were probably the last two people, but if you want to take a little mango pre-workout shot, you're more than welcome to. But we're the most.
I feel pretty energized. Okay, yay. Wow, this is the first time I've done a tequila shot in a long time.
Well, we have our other sponsor, Benjamin Blue. Also, did you see Batshah's Instagram about the Benjamin Blue ad?
Yes.
Thoughts off rip.
I mean, just absolutely next level. I'm completely well, it's excellent. Like the quality of the workmanship is excellent. And to see what Badshah has learned through dedicating himself in past year. Probably even, I don't know how long he's been doing that, dabbling in the AI, but probably not more than a year. Well, it's absolutely amazing.
You're here to there, Batshah. If you haven't heard it yet, people are watching. You're doing a great job. Shout out to Benjamin Blue. I hope that takes off for you. And you are one of our first clients to use Batshah to make an AI video.
Amazing. It's awesome.
So we appreciate it, but that's your Benjamin Blue right there. And since you're not going to take the mango, I'm going to go ahead and chase mine with a mango.
Absolutely, you should.
Cheers. Thank you for coming on the Daily Dose Podcast. Episode 6. Here we go.
It's good.
Very smooth.
It's good.
That's a solid 9.5 out of 10.
Thanks to the Donsons. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. It's going down right now. Whew. Did you hear my story about him?
I don't think so.
I didn't know he was in 21. And I'm offering tequila shots live on the Daily Dose Podcast. He goes, I'm underage. I was like, man, Aaron, how are you going to get me in trouble?
Wait, how are you, 19? 19. Oh, my God. How awesome is that?
You know what's crazy about that, Nancy? And it's going to work right in our segment. To be that young and to be around individuals like you and everybody in the Congo gym.
Yep.
How great. He's taking a big risk and he's, volunteering, and how great is that for him or someone like that individual to be in the rooms of people that we have in our gym?
It's huge. And there's, when you invest in yourself in that way, there's just no doubt that it's like a not risk. It's like a non-risk risk. It's like the least risky thing you can do is go immerse yourself in with a bunch of people and create those relationships, and it's all about the environment that you're in.
And you said you were going to come in February, actually move here?
That's awesome.
That says a lot. So I wanted to start that out because they were talking about it, and it's like, here we are, because this episode is going to be a lot about impact, changing people's lives, changing the world, changing the fitness concept, everything. It's not about positivity here. So Nancy, how did you? Shout out to Naeed, man. Good job.
Yeah, and Naeed, I also want to say, I never would have guessed you were 19.
Yeah,
and that's so cool. Like the way you carry yourself is just so awesome, so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. See, compound interest. Now you're going to take that when you're lunging the manifestations. You take that. What did she say? How can I go? How can I go? And then you're going to keep going up. So yeah, shout out to Naeed. Because of that, how did you initially find out about us? What was your initial thoughts, and what has made you stay with us so long? But yeah, the Congo clan, how big? Well, she's act of Valor right now.
Yes, Valor. Mm-hmm.
By way of Valor.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I know we had some hardships during some COVID.
Yeah.
And, the potential of what that could have been. So, yeah, I would just love to hear your story for myself personally, because I don't know it, and everybody who's listening today.
Yeah, so I found Congo through our dear friends Bart Barrett and Paul Barnhart.
Oh, yeah, Marno.
They're like preschool besties, or the element. They've been besties since they were like little kids. And Paul and Bart both came to big. And they were always talking about Congo. And sorry, Bart, throwing you under the bus, but we know Bart with his no deadlifts. He'd always be coming to Yo. He's like, my back. And I'm like, why does your back keep, he's like, well, I keep doing deadlifts. I go to this amazing place called Congo. And this just Bart's back, people. The deadlifts are great. We need deadlifts. I love deadlifts.
Yes, that's why she's on the show.
And Bart's doing great with his deadlifts too. But
what a transformation for Bart. You know, you brought Bart up. When Bart came in, he was such a tall, lanky, skinny guy.
Uh-huh.
And now he's a 5-day, 6-a-week, strong ox.
So strong.
Just a huge transformation.
So strong. Yeah, huge transformation since I've known Bart and since when he started coming to Congo. Because I've known Bart for a long time. So he was like, okay, yeah, I've been going to this place called Congo. And then Paul was coming to, he's like, oh yeah, Nancy, like, you got to try Congo. You would love Congo. And I'm like, no, I would not like Congo. I don't like places like that. Like, I don't like that type of workout. I don't like it at all. And, you know, growing up, I shared with you in passing a while ago that growing up I had like eating disorders and all that kind of stuff. And I was like pretty averse to gym culture because I didn't like the idea of like needing your body to look a certain way, needing to lose weight. I just didn't like that whole conversation that I associated with gym culture. And yoga was a form of movement that I had found that felt very compassionate and accepting, and I was able to push myself and inside of a context of you're already good. And I really needed that when I found it. And I am a former athlete. So I was a gymnast growing up, and then I kind of fell off of that. And that's when the eating disorder started. Went off to college. It was super tough. But anyhow, I was completely averse to that type of workout. I did CrossFit a few times too, and just was a no-go for me. And so then I had, you know, I was doing yoga. I was doing like some Pilates for strength training, which I liked because there was, you know, weights and resistance involved. I liked it enough to do it because I knew it was good for me. But anyhow, they finally just were like, you gotta come check it out. So the only reason I came, I didn't even look at the Instagram. I didn't look at the website. So I had no idea what I was in for. I'm just like, whatever, another workout class. Bart was like, come with me at 6 a.m. I bought your class. So he paid for my class. He's like, gave me the address. And I was like, all right, great. What do I wear? He's like, just wear workout clothes. I'm like, okay. So I pull up and I walk in and I'm like, what the fuck is this place? Right? It's 5:45 in the morning. Like the brightest fluorescent lights ever, the loudest, you know, like Kanye. I'm like, the brand is so strong when you walk in, right? The 0 fucks given on the thing. And I'm like, simultaneously, I'm like, I'm in love with these guys because like their brand is so strong. Like the moment you walk in, you're like, these guys literally don't give a fuck because like it even says it, right? And they're so clear on what they are doing. Like there's no room for anything else. And at the same time, I'm like, this place is so on brand for Congo. I was like, I don't know if this is on brand for me. Do you know? I'm like, I just don't know. So I came upstairs. I met Paul and Bart there. They like introduced me to everyone. I'm like, what is this? And Bart also made Melissa, his wife, come with me at 6 a.m. And if y'all know Melissa, she does not come at 6 a.m. And she was the best first person for me to be with because she's like, listen, Nancy, like, you don't have to do all the reps. Like, I'm not going to do them all. And I'm like, okay, but I'm dying. And I always tell this to Halima. I remember the first day I came, we did like the power pulls on the rower standing. And I remember watching Halima do it. Her hair was down. She was like this glorious goddess, you know? And she almost like broke the thing. And I was like, I can't believe I have to do this. And at the end of the thing, the end of the class, I'd never worked so hard in my life. It was like 7 o'clock. Y'all were calling the next workout. Bart was like, you can be done. I almost started crying. I was like, thank God. And at the end of that, I was like, I'm never going back. Like, that was too much. That was too hard. Okay. And then, though, by the next day, I mean, I was so sore, but I was like, wow, like, I've never felt like that. And that, like, just pushed me above and beyond what I thought that I could do. So then, like, maybe a while, I still wouldn't even come by myself. I had to, like, go with Bart or, like, go with a friend. And that was for months because that was, like, in the spring that I came. It was, like, March or April.
Was it 2 years ago?
4 years. This spring, it will be 4 years. This spring, I'll have been coming to the gym for 4 years. So.
Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah. Thank you. And, oh, yeah, by the way, when I was coming here, I was on the phone with Justin. He goes, tell Dose, I said, thanks for making me so jacked. And I said, okay, I'll tell him. He said, no, really tell him. But and that's Justin. But yeah, so then I was like, I'll come once a week, and then maybe I would come like twice a week. But then I accidentally bought the Summer Slam, and that first year when I bought it, it was 20 classes, and you had to use it within the month of August. And I bought it, and I didn't realize that, Naeed. So I was like, okay, yeah, I can use these 20 classes. This is a great deal. Then I was like, oh shit, by the end of the month, you know, and these guys are like, no exceptions. And I'm like, I'm not messing with these guys. I'm going to do my thing, like, by the end of the month. And I did, like, 4 or 5 classes a week to get that done. And then I was like, oh, not only can I do this, I love this. And that's what got me, like, in, was the no refunds on the Summer Slam.
You know what? There's so many things I love about it. First and foremost, I think what people know about Paul Barnhart, he is like the Dark Knight, man. He's like the Batman. He's the guy in the shadows working and plugging, and so kind and so nice. And what a lot of people don't know about Paul is Paul was actually, I always say, did you know who Usman Danani is? Did you know, were you around at the gym when he comes in?
The name sounds so familiar.
Okay, so in all of our podcasts, he's usually like the kick of like how Congo evolved and started. Like he was the first one, and Paul Barnhart is actually in that realm too.
Oh, wow.
Those two guys kind of came at the same time. Paul was loving this concept. Like he loved Taj, he loved what we were doing, but he could tell something wasn't right there, and more he kept coming, and he was still investigating, but loving what we were doing and trying to figure it all out. And
That's
that
cool.
guy has followed us and gave us the best piece of advices and anything we ever needed. He had our support. He was so supportive of us. He was always a phone call or a text away.
Yeah.
And each evolution phase from 9 Innovations to me going to the Post Oak and, helping us out with deals there, what to do, what not to do, just out of love, nothing in return, nothing to say, I got you guys, you owe me this. It's out of love. And you mentioned Mel and, Olivia and all these girls now, like I bring those names up because not to name names, it's just, it goes back to exactly what you said. Congo is so on brand to Congo, but not for me.
Right.
And those girls, when you think of gyms, you would think women like that would be hell no to it,
Totally.
which you were.
Yes.
And they probably weren't too. Mel probably went to Bart. Bart, what the hell did you give me?
Wait, like this is where you're going?
But now, prior to their baby, she was 4 or 5
And
days
she's
a
been
week.
back
Yes.
all the time.
And everyone's like, how did she get her body so bounced back? She's like, well, I just eat healthy and walk around and come to Congo. I was like,
100%.
thanks, Mel. That was a hell of a promo.
Yep.
But it's just so cool to see, like, even now how he recommends people and the people that he's recommended has been such a great tribe of people to bring in Congo. So thank you, Paul, and thank you, Bart, for rocking with us.
Yeah, Paul's amazing. He's one of those people, when he sees something in someone, he's awesome.
Yeah, and then you brought so many of, at the time, you talked about that. What kind of ultimately, how long were you with Big Power? What was that whole concept?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can correct me if I'm wrong, were you guys one of the first people to do some of those classes here in Houston? Because all these trends that are going now, there's hot 100-degree rooms,
Totally.
There's bands, there's dumbbells. So were you like kind of some of the first people in Houston to do that? And then what kind of happened with Big Power and where you're at now?
Yeah, for sure. So when I'm from Philadelphia.
Philly. Hey, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so I'm from Philly, and that's where Justin and I met. So Justin, my now husband, is from Houston. He was a touring musician. So he moved, he was in Austin doing the band thing, and then he ended up moving to Philly to be in a band that was based out of Philly. And that's how he ended up there. We met through mutual friends, and that's how we ended up back down here. But as I mentioned, after I quit being an athlete, my body changed so much. So this was like in high school. So that was so hard for me. I gained a lot of weight, and I'm only not even 5'1", which is why I can't put my feet on the ground. Anyone ever wonders why I sit crisscross applesauce? This is why.
There ain't no way I gotta take some big fat.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah. Maybe after a few yoga classes. So yeah, so I gained weight. I felt out of shape, and I was taught from a young age that the way to be happy as a woman was to be approved of, which was to be skinny and to be pretty. That's at least what I inferred through, my environments. So by the time I went off to college, after dealing with this from 17, 18, and trying to manage my diet, trying to get approval, by the time I went off to college, it was just a huge mess. Other stuff too, but it was tough. Navigated it with substance abuse, alcohol abuse, hanging out with the wrong people. I ended up failing out of school on purpose because I felt like I wasn't able to quit school, which is college. I went to Drexel University. I went for fashion design. And at that point, after failing out of school and finding myself like 40 pounds overweight as a former athlete, completely depressed, like feeling so much crippling shame and blame, like it was basically like, how did I let myself get here? Just in that complete despair that comes from feeling so far from being who you want to be, like that deep, deep stress. So a friend of mine was like, do you want to come to yoga with me? And this was a friend of mine who had been through a similar journey, yet it had some success, meaning eating disorders and on the other side. And she was like, this really helped me going to yoga. So I went with her, and that just completely changed my life. It was the thing about it as a former athlete, that physicality, and that's why I love Congo so much versus something else, is like that total exertion of like everything's left on the field. I felt that at that point in my life after this first heated Power Vinyasa class in Philadelphia, and my heart was beating so much, and I felt just so reconnected to myself. And the cool thing around yoga, for the most part, there's weird yoga communities just like there is in any, anything, any subset of people. But the communities that I was with in Philadelphia, those people just saw me as, they didn't see me as my past. They saw me as just this awesome person who had similar interests to them. So like, this is why Naida, I think it's so cool at 19 years old. So at this time that I'm explaining where I'd been like super disconnected from myself, I'm 22 years old, and people start taking me under their wing. Like these really successful entrepreneurs, and they're like, come have lunch at my house. Like, come do this with me. Like we were in the same community. And that, in addition to the physicality and the spirituality, but the community aspect of it and the mentorship aspect of it changed my life. So then when we moved to Houston, Justin quit the band, said, hey, my family business is in Houston. Will you move back to Houston with me? So I did. And that community that I missed, that had so changed my life, wasn't in Houston. So it was good timing when I moved here in 2009. And because it didn't exist, I ended up opening it, right? It took me some time to, do it. But in 2012 is when we opened big. And I did my first yoga teacher training right before we moved from Philadelphia to here. And at the time, we were like super lucky with timing. I don't believe in luck. I think it's a blessing. And, the timing was awesome, and we were able to like just take off. Now, with that being said, it's like, y'all, people are going to say you're blessed, and you are, but you put in that work. So like when I moved to Houston, I started teaching yoga right away. I taught yoga in Houston full time for those 3 years. So by the time we decided, okay, we're going to open big because there isn't anything, we were able to sell 400 pre-opening memberships before we even opened. And then we were able to just grow because right now, there's so much. Yoga's become a commodity, like a lot of things are. But at the time, it was awesome. Like we were just like, it was the perfect timing, the perfect storm of things. And we were able to grow so organically, so quickly. So we had 2 huge locations in Houston, one in Denver, Yoga Retreats Company, a leadership aspect of the company, a studio in Steamboat, Colorado also. And then, the pandemic kind of changed things.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was got that big.
Yeah. And
really
then
big.
Yeah. And then our 5th location was going to be where Congo is. Did I tell you that?
No.
So I told Taj. So the gym that was there, I don't know the name of the gym that was there before, y'all.
Yeah, it was a handful.
But this gym went out of business. So I saw when all that old gym equipment was in there.
Yeah. Okay.
We had in a letter of intent on that space. Because in this time, my daughter was born prematurely. In 2018, so I spent a lot of time in the Med Center, which is where Congo is, like right there. It's in the Med Center Plaza. So there was nothing over there. The only thing that I could do if I could get a little bit away is I went to Hip Fitness downstairs. So that spot was for rent upstairs, and I was like, oh my God, people over here need more than this.
Yeah.
So we actually went in and did a letter of intent on the space. We were going to move forward, and then just at the last minute, for whatever reason, I was just like, timing isn't right. And so that was 2019. And we just pulled out. We decided not to do it. And then, and I was pregnant with my second. We pulled out, and then pandemic, and then y'all went in. So is that just wild? Like,
That's
that was almost a
insane.
big. So I don't know, like, if y'all would have ended
What
up there.
happens?
Because we would have been in there trying to, like, hustle and make it work. And and thank God we weren't.
And that's like what I like talk about. Like, I don't know what your belief is, but like the universe or God, but like that is like God's plan, God's timing for everything. And something in your belly said,
Yep.
it's not the right time.
Yep. I was like, it's just, this isn't it. It feels like just too much of an overextension right now. And we didn't do it. And thank God.
And, you brought up the pandemic. Obviously, that hurt you guys quite a bit.
Yeah, so our model at Big was you came to that class one time. It's we fit 100. Dose did do one yoga class for the record, and he did attempt a handstand.
Yes, and I love you yogis. I love all you people that come to me and support me and come to your Congo classes and book your Congo classes. I appreciate y'all so much, but I did that out of love for Nancy and Bart. I ain't ever going back. I'm sorry. It's not a knock against y'all.
We're
It's
honored.
just,
We're honored you came and you did it.
it's just,
all
you guys got it, and I'll keep referring
Yeah,
people to y'all.
exactly. When we appreciate that. Not everything is for everyone, which is the purpose of having a brand.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our model was like, 100 people in a room. So we had our location in Montrose was 8,000 square feet down, 8,000 square feet up, 16,000 square feet total, 2 floors. Then our location in Memorial was another 8,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Our one in Denver was smaller, but it worked. Our big rooms held 112 people. Our smaller rooms held 50 to 60, and we would just turn and burn those. They would be booked all the time. A small class for us on like a Wednesday night at 6:30 would be 60 people.
Love it.
On the weekends, it was just, can we fit more people in this room? Sorry, you're on a wait list for 100 people. And it wasn't that way from the very beginning, but we got there. And so because our space was so big and our rents were so high, thank God we had run a smart business. Thanks to my now business partner again, Nick Zog. He was our director of operations. Then he helped us run a very smart financial business. So we were able to stay open for a long time after the pandemic. But just being able to have that many people in a room, it just wasn't sustainable. And the people's behavior just changed so much after the pandemic. So we didn't have those humongous classes anymore. So eventually I reached a point after just trying again and again and again to like make it go back to the way it was. Moving forward for me, and I'm totally shortcutting this, like there's just so much thought that went into it, but moving forward for me was a reimagination of the business model and a rebrand and a relocation. And it was just easier to complete Big rather than saying, hey, I'm firing half the staff, I'm doubling the price, and I'm moving. It was way more intelligent to say this season is complete, just like y'all did, right? And now we're beginning this brand new thing. And a huge shout out to y'all, because when I started going to Congo in 2022 or 2023, whatever that was, almost 4 years ago, I remember being like, this is $50 drop-in. And like totally understanding why. Like this is worth every dollar. Like this is way better than you're going to get with a one-on-one trainer, right? And you get 5 coaches on the floor. But I remember being like, I could never charge more than $20, $25 for a drop-in for yoga. People would lose their minds. And it wasn't until spending more time with y'all that I was like, no, that's actually what it costs for me to do. And that's why y'all charge what you charge at Congo. That's what it costs for you to do what you do. And that's the same with us at Big, is our service is so high touch and so artisanal and so craft. And one of the things that draws me to Congo is the commitment to excellence. Like that's our commitment at Big and now Valor. And that is not sustainable at $150 a month. It's not. People are like, why does Valor cost so much? It's what it costs to do what we do. Anyhow, so experiencing y'all doing that also gave me permission to do that and to charge like really what it's worth. And we knew we would lose some people along the way, and we still have a commitment to spreading yoga, but this is how we do it. I have to take care of myself and my family. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, a couple things with that. That's amazing, and I love the confidence in the last sentence too. And just for her to talk about that what you were going on through your younger age and your body and how you were lost, and it's like to hear her say that she's such a positive person. I've never now once seen you come in the gym and not smile or not be in a good mood, even if you probably weren't in a good mood and you were still in a good mood. So like to see how you had dark times and how yoga flipped the switch for you is just cool to see in my chair, in my perspective, the evolution of that. And I commend you for that. And you didn't quit, and it built resistance. And I tell people all the time, it's like when you have those moments or like your moments, you're trying to figure out what to do with your life. In your situation, what am I going to do with my life? And flip the script. This isn't acceptable. Like we all have this point of going this way or this way.
Yes.
And you have to look yourself in the mirror and be like, I want to go this way. And when I was lunging today on my manifestations, what I was listening to, I think it was Cat Williams, and I'll send it to you guys. She's talking about like if you're in your movie and that adversity moments hits and you're sitting in the theater or your game or your whatever, what would you want your person to do?
Yes.
And like
Exactly.
that's your moment. That's your adversity
Exactly.
moment. You're not going to sit there and say, "Hey, I don't want Rocky to knock out Apollo in round 2." Like, no, you got to go do it.
Yes.
So you can't quit. And like the people who will excel through every adversity is you never give up and you never quit. And you especially you mentioned the past and closing doors and new seasons. And that's important too. And I just wanted to commend you on that because I've literally never seen you in a bad mood. Even Justin, I've never seen you guys in a bad mood. And that speaks volumes because that brings energy into our doors that we love and appreciate. So kudos to you guys for always being in a good mood. And you know, you talked about the wait list and all that stuff, and it was trickling in my head. Like literally today, I told the group message, I said, man, there's zero exceptions. Nobody can walk in. And you're talking about filling up 100, people in a room. And it's like, what God's blessings and such blessings to have to be able to do that as a company and even as us were to do it. And this was literally going in my head today. And no matter what, Nancy, and you may or may not have heard this, I always think like tomorrow I'm going to be broke. Tomorrow I'm going to be broke. Because that moment you just identified, pandemic, and it was all gone, and you had no idea that would happen.
No idea.
I live like that all the time. And I think that's what's the crazy in us and in successful people, but you have to like have that, in the back of your head, or you can't be complacent no matter what
Never.
you do. And I tell these guys all the time, that's why we always bring it all the time, because you have to live in the moment. If you don't live in the moment, that moment that's created will never be a real moment. And everybody, even me, I'm guilty of it. I'm always looking at the future, the next location, the next whatever. But like we sometimes we forget what's in front of us. And sometimes a pandemic is a sign for that. For me, the pandemic was the biggest blessing of our life. Because Big Power didn't sign that lease in 2019. And we were going down to the wire too, where the location was. And because of that, one, no one's ever had a gym out there. All like our competition or people are stuck in the Galleria.
Exactly.
So like I was like, okay, I like being away, setting our own thing, new demographic, new clientele. And it was like, all right, bet on ourselves. But you mentioned the cost, and I love how you said that this is what we're worth, and this is what it takes to feed us, and have that. And I always say the standard is a standard. There's a reason why there's a difference between a $20 class and a $50 class. And mind you, I was 20, I hadn't even hit 30, I was 28. I started training, I was 23. When we got booted out, I was 2018. I was young, and my whole thing was $50 a class. The reason why I said $50 a class, which is how you described it, you've never been to a group class that's $50, right?
No.
Ever.
No.
And that's a big number to throw
No.
at. Wait
Yeah.
a second, what? I'm in the fitness industry, I see this. Who the hell are these guys?
Yeah.
And that's really what it was, and people felt that way. But that came because my first business deal was with Tillman Fertitta. We sat in his office, and we were talking about what we could do to go look at the post oak, because Patrick has been such a huge help. Another guy, person in the shadows, he's helped us tremendously. Avid supporter of Congo. He's followed us everywhere we went and has had my back. So big shout out to Patrick. Our first deal is with Tillman. He's sitting in the office, and he's like, well, if you're gonna, we have this spa here. And you would have loved the spa, by the way.
I'm sure I know
You
I would have.
loved the spa. And no one's ever using the weight room. We want to go check it out. And I'm thinking, okay, thinking clientele. I'm thinking hotel guest. I can be the whole gunner Peterson of Houston with, the Post Oak high-end clientele. They're going to give me freaking room clients. I can do this. Taj can take care of his clients at the rooftop, wherever he has to go, because he was not feeling the Post Oak. It wasn't
really?
his vibe.
He was not on board?
He tried. When we needed help or he needed people there, he would come, but it was,
Uh-huh.
And then the kicker to that is like, well, I'm going to have to take half of what you make. Then I could tell Sadat. And mine is our first meeting. And I said, okay, well, I don't even know what I was making before because it was just a crapshoot. Right? I didn't know what they were doing.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's $25 a head. So I'll just say $50 because that's half. So I'm thinking I'm going to make $25 a person for group classes. And then they said, what about private training? I said, $150. So in my head, I was okay, half of $150 at $75.
Yep, that's great.
So that's how those numbers came about. And now I was offering the services. And the whole time when I'm offering the services, I started to realize people are coming because of me.
Yes.
Services are great. Don't get me wrong. And that's a perk. But I would like to say, I think 99.9% of the people from the Post Oak has transitioned to Congo. Every one of them. And it was like, I brought Post Oak clients. I brought athletes. I brought exposure. I'm not boasting them saying what I did, but it's like people need to understand that you're the touch and the special thing that you do.
Absolutely.
And once you tap into that and you find your purpose, just like I tell Priscilla, she's on her journey right now and her season of change, is when you lock in on your purpose or something that motivates you to have the discipline to do it every day. Because I talk to people all the time about motivation and discipline. Everybody can have the motivation part. Oh yeah, I feel good. Nancy's back looked ripped in this Congo video she posted about positivity and getting uncomfortable and discomfort. And I'm going to do it. But then when the alarm clock hits, oh man, I'm tired. I'm sore. Now you got to have the discipline to do it.
Yep.
And the discipline is what gets people over the hump. So, the $50 and then even the business concept, Paul helped us with that. Oh, this is our idea. This is, I know what we can offer. And it was just like, we all bet on ourselves and we didn't care what people would think. And we said that price would, I don't want to say it. No, warrants to be myself. That price would basically shit on the other gyms to let them know that we're the best. We offer more and it will filter out the quote unquote riffraff.
Yes. And it holds you to a higher standard. Like you know what people are coming and the quality of person that's going to attract. But you have to be at that standard. I think that's the thing also. There's this whole charge what you're worth conversation around here right now with people in business, with people wanting to charge a bunch of money. And I talk to a lot of new yoga studio owners or new gym, whoever. And they're like, well, how can I charge what you charge? It's like, well, you have to have a level of, it has to be worth it. Because you could charge $50 and people can come and it's not even worth 20. They're not going to continue to come. And that's a thing that y'all have done is it's worth it.
1,000%.
It's worth it. There's a value and y'all value what you do. And like you said, it's your purpose, it's your passion, you do with excellence. So that's why it costs that, right? It's worth every penny.
And it has to be disruption too. So
that's right.
What you're creating at Valor, that's the disruption. There's not a concept like that. Is it scary? It probably is scary. Am I going to succeed? I don't know. But hey, you've been down that road before where you didn't know what the end of the tunnel is, but you've got through it. And ironically, now that our prices are that way, all these other gyms are changing their prices. And it's I bring that up because, we were told this wouldn't work. We were told it wouldn't work. And Nancy, I was bailed on so many quote unquote investors, donors. I got your backs. I'm going to take care of you. And when it was time to sign and help, the phone was radio silent. So for you to understand why I am the way I am and the gym is the way I am, that is the reason why. When something you wanted so bad was patience is another thing you have to learn if you want to be successful. You got to have patience.
Number one skill.
And I'm bringing up patience, and here I am with a yogi, and I don't take yoga. And she's probably the queen of patience, or maybe you're not. How are you with patience?
I feel like if you cannot be an entrepreneur or in a long-term pursuit of anything if you don't have patience.
Yeah.
And patience, I feel like, is misunderstood. It's patience can seem like it's just waiting, but that's waiting. Patience is actually the ability to remain calm in a turbulent situation. As there's chaos, you're able to stay calm and stay clear and put one foot in front of the other. So patience is doing the work while you wait and not waiting while you wait. Do you know? And it's that clarity and that calm, and you have to have it.
I love you say that. I don't know if you ever hear me yelling calm in the chaos. I say that all the
Yes,
time, calm in the
100%. Yeah.
chaos. And you hit the nail on the head with that, and you put one foot in front of the other, and that's why I like the lunges. And I love that you love Congo too, because you mentioned you are a selling point. I didn't influence that. I love that you said that because you left and you gave everything you had.
Yes.
And
Oh.
that's what it takes.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes when you're building a brand or you're building your own thing. And it's like, I don't even have mine on today. I wore this because Sadaji gave it to me as a birthday present.
Aw.
And I thought it was cooler outside. And then next, at lunch, it's...
It was cold this morning.
Yeah, and it's not anymore.
Now it's hot.
But just like wearing your gear and being proudful of it and branding. And, we set those prices and it was scary because I had a lot of Priscilla's friends that were such huge supporters of us. And they're like, man, $50.
Yeah.
Hey, and I would be like, I love you. I appreciate you. I totally get it. And it's like that hard conversation. But then, it's that unknown. Oh, what's that going to do? And then my price from 150 came up to 200. And so now I'm like, I'm up to gunner's rate.
Yeah.
So like, what does that mean? Am I worth it? And that's why I talk about the standard is the standard.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk in, everything you explain, the lighting, the smell we're working on. Man,
We do a good job with the circumstances.
let's get a Old Spice sponsor for the smell. Everybody, hygiene, shower, deodorant. We got the best of the showers. I don't know what's going on with some of you guys, but come on, man. But smell, another subject. But, there's always towels. Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. There hasn't been towels lately.
Not always towels. Most of the time, people smell good and there's towels.
So as I'm saying this out loud, this is the life of an entrepreneur and a business owner. Some things you think it's going to come out right, then you're thinking about all the negatives. Damn, washer broke. Damn, towels weren't there. Damn, this thing's happened. But that is the standard. And what you're doing, I haven't got to experience it yet. And I would like to. I can't even goddamn cold plunge, but I'm going to get there. What is the concept that made you shift from big to this Valor concept and the plunges and saunas too, right?
Well, we have our classes have near infrared light therapy in them.
Okay.
So it's hot yoga with near infrared light therapy, and yeah, we're gonna get in some saunas in there probably pretty soon. So the pandemic happened, such a huge change, just so impactful financially on, the business, my family, just extremely challenging times. It's so hard on our team, hard on our community, hard on everyone. And so it was 2020. Now it's almost 2026, which is so wild to me. So wild. So I really fought every single day showing up. My mantra was be the one. You are the one to solve this problem. You are the one.
That's literally what we just said. Yeah.
You were put in this circumstance for a reason. You should hear my playlist from this time. I'm happy. I'm just okay, doing all the self-talk, and that, to your point, that's why having an embodied practice, whether it's yoga or lunges or Congo or whatever you're doing, is so important, because that's where you get face to face with your I can't and I won't.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you're okay, interesting thought. I can and I will. Right. So it's just, and that's patience. That's patience. So years of trying all different sorts of approaches. We tried all different sorts of models. We even tried the Black Swan model, which is a donations model. We tried a bunch of different things to, in quotes, recover. And over that time, we decided to close the Memorial location, and then focus just on the Montrose location. We ended up eventually selling our Denver location. When I say we, my business partner and I, Laura Rust, who now lives in Steamboat, and she was in Denver running our Denver location until she moved to Steamboat over the pandemic. I was running our studio there. We ended up selling. She sold Big to me, and I sold my ownership of Steamboat to her. Just to simplify, we're still on great terms. We're still business partners in our yoga retreats company, which Halima and I just did that trip with. It's called Live Alive Adventures. But just after so many attempts, what I realized was something has to give. This is not a new email campaign. This is not I don't know. It's just, it's something big has to change for me to feel things are sustainable again and growing again, which I believe is the natural way of all things. We know something needs to shift if it's in a state of being drained, in a state of dying off. Everything is meant to be in a state of flourishing and growing. And of course, there's ebbs and flows with that, just like the seasons, but it was too long of a season. So with the support of my own inquiry, great folks in my life, and then also an excellent business mentor who essentially told me, like, listen, the reason Big is successful still is obviously because of you, right? And a few other select people. And this business mentor actually advised me to just stop and just go fully in on myself, like go fully virtual, fully like 100% podcast, influencer yoga, virtual yoga studio thing.
Gotta believe in you.
Yeah.
Gotta believe in you.
That was like an exciting, I was surprised. I was so resistant to that. And there was an element of truth to it that was like, something about that has like some freedom in it for me.
Yeah.
And this person was like, okay, I can tell you don't want to do that. Because what I loved so much about Big is that it wasn't only me. And I know you love that about Congo too. It's like, I've got some vision for the brand and it does rely on me, but it's also so much. I'm a part of it, but it's not only me. So
It takes a village.
Yeah.
It takes a village.
It takes everyone. So though, what I realize is what I want to be doing is guaranteeing that every single experience that someone has with whatever I'm doing is at the caliber as if I were doing it. And of course I can't guarantee that, but it's a commitment. Like as near to or close or better, right? Because some people are going to be better. So I knew that would take having a way smaller group of people. And then also it needed to have a return on investment for my time. So the price increase, but then with that price increase was the commitment to excellence. So now everyone on our team, we had an amazing team before, y'all. Anyone who's listening to this, like our team at Big, I love you all. Everyone was amazing. And I had an incredible team. And there was a few people that I was like, okay, these people have been teaching, almost everyone at Valor has been teaching for more than 10 years and have a certain level of that. Yeah. So that was the guarantee. And I wanted it to feel like artisanal, not like premium, like pretensy, like fancy, but artisanal and craft. Like, because yoga, to our conversation earlier, yoga has become a commodity. It's like you can go to Black Swan, you could go to wherever around the court, and Black Swan is killing it with their model, right? It's kind of a turn and burn type thing. You can go on a Thursday night, 7:30 p.m., and there's 75 people there. And it's just a complete opposite end of the spectrum with what I'm doing, which is reliability, different than predictability. It's like I want it to be excellent every time, and that takes a lot. So with that commitment and that level of product that we're committing to, it costs that amount of money. Yeah. Then the other thing I'm really committed to, even more than yoga, is what you get off the mat, right? So it's leadership, personal development, entrepreneurship, community, like that, and then the wellness that also takes what you feel on the mat to a next level of health in your life. So how can you get everything you might want for your life in 1 hour of your day or 2 hours of your day, right? The fitness, the spirituality, the community, the ice bath, the sweat, like how can you get it all in one place? And then it's outdoors, it's in a garden too, right? So you get time in nature, which you don't get in Houston. So, it was the commitment to doing something completely extraordinary versus something that had been commoditized and something that I was deeply, deeply passionate about.
That's how you win.
Yeah.
That's how you win. Because I, even like, you talked about the branding when it screamed at the beginning, and even what you're doing now, and I haven't seen it yet, obviously through social media and stuff, but it has your own brand to it. Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen it before. It's not saying who's the first to what, but it's, like I said, you have to believe in you. And then when you have that passion and you portray it, it comes out naturally. And then your light shines on all this other people, and then those people will come. And then you'll find out too, who really supports you in a good way or bad way. I know you're all about positivity, and I don't think you've ever spoken bad about anybody, but there's me, there's horsepower, not hybrid, sipping on Congo subs. Wild because it tastes so good, not because I need the energy. But I lean on the hate. I lean on the, those are all driving forces for me to keep pushing and moving forward. But, Gunnar Peterson taught me, like, the standard is the standard. When I walked into his gym the very first time, and I was in that transition of Nine Innovations and what the hell am I going to do with my life and making some money to no money. I wasn't making any money, and I walked in those doors and I said, wow,
Wow.
without even meeting him yet. Wow. I like this. This is what I love. This is who I am. This guy seems like who he says he is.
Yeah, there was a clarity and an energy, right?
Felt it. I felt it. I smelt it, and it was in my veins already. Even before shaking the guy's hand, I knew what it was. And then after that was achieved, then you meet the person. Wow. What a phenomenal person. Attention to detail. Yeah, he's got a black Range Rover, or this is a certain color. This is placed in a certain way. And only, people of that nature would notice that. And I'm pretty sure you notice that when you're in our gym and when you're in your situation, your place, this has to be like this. This has to be like this. Congo, the towels have to be folded like this. All of that came from Gunnar. And, I'll never forget the advice he told me. He's like, what you always got to do is you have to believe in yourself. And if you want something, you got to go do it. Because I was struggling with, man, these guys don't want to invest in the equipment. I just want one VersaClimber. I know it's a lot of money, but they got the money to do it. And he's just like, and this is cool for you because you're going to know the VersaClimber story. And he's like, well, you know what I did when I was coming up? I was at the gym and I started buying my own stuff. I bought it for my sessions, and then I had other trainers asking if they can use it, and he'd be like, "Hell no, you can't use it." And then they would start seeing what he was doing, and they were doing it. So I'm like, all right, I have to take this risk. So the VersaClimber was the very first big purchase of my life.
Wow.
Not the business.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not any of that. And it was my purchase that I put in that gym. And that's
at Post Oak?
No, this was at Nine Innovations.
You bought it and put it in
I bought it and put it in
Wow.
there. It was $6,800. And I said, because of him, I'm going to make this. And I was the very first person to have a VersaClimber. Well, at least anybody know how to use it. And then that thing became a thing. And that's actually what transformed me and mentally. Moral of the story is you got to believe in yourself and have your own uniqueness. And he did that with his black and yellow, his Kardashian, his jerseys. Now you have to take that inspiration. You can't copy it. You have to get inspiration from it.
That's right.
You have to get motivation from it. And then after that, you have to get the discipline to actually make it happen. But you got to put your touch on it. And what I've noticed, and what I've noticed from you, it's all you. I haven't seen that concept anywhere. You're not ripping anybody off. And because of that, that thing is going to succeed no matter what. And hold firm on the price too, because, as we transition, we go to this next location and how great it's going to be. We've discussed different ideas and maybe possible increasing, and doesn't mean we're going to, or it's just an idea, but we've built that demand now, selling out classes Saturday, Sunday, and you cannot, this is not ego. This is a peaceful power yoga lady with me, Nancy, so she will check me. But you cannot experience Congo anywhere on this planet. Anywhere. There's only one energy machine, well-oiled, eyes, ears to be able to handle 30 to 40 people, guys, girls, yogis, pregnant people, people with disabilities, shoulder injuries, and we cater to it all. And
all different levels.
And you hit the nail on the head. You said it's better than private training, and you have all those people, and the fact that you said that means a lot to me. So you got to have your own uniqueness, and you are doing that. And for everybody that's trying to build a brand, it's got to be you. You can't rip off anybody, because you rip it off, it's a copy, it'll never work.
That's right.
It'll never work.
Yep. And that is what makes that's what guarantees there will never be anything like Congo, is that it's so y'all. It's so y'all, and that is, if you want to create an excellent business, you can do it anywhere, and it won't be like anything else. It'll be exactly like whatever you're creating. You just have to go all in on yourself, and take a risk on yourself, bet on yourself, and because no one else can do it for you.
And it's uncomfortable. That's why when you were sitting there, it was uncomfortable. What are you gonna do? You dealt with it twice. You had you had your first coming out of college, and then you had the pandemic, and now here you are again. And who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
and
we have no idea. We have no idea.
You got to be prepared. But you know what you do, right? You push yourself extremely hard in the gym, and that creates resistance. And that's why I get so upset that why are these guys so intense, or why, ladies should only do this. They shouldn't do. No, people need hard in their life. how can I always say this, Nancy? How do you expect to run a successful business or to pass an X amount of tests or to achieve something when you physically have never taken yourself to the point of exhaustion or push yourself to know what it's like to go through it?
Yeah, I feel like the only way you can have an honest relationship with yourself or anyone else is if you have an honest relationship with your body. Like, your body will teach you anything and everything that you need to know about yourself and anyone. And any circumstance that you find yourself in, it, it it's an education challenging yourself in your body. Right? It's like, oh, okay, resistance makes me stronger here. Resistance is going to make me stronger here. It's the greatest teacher that we have, is that time spent with ourselves. And it's not time spent just thinking about stuff. It's time, it's an embodied learning that changes the memories you have in your body. See, if I can do that, I can do anything. I have this one memory from early at Congo where we were doing I think we were doing either RDLs or deadlifts with the kabuki from the ground.
Okay.
And Badshaw like put weight on there, and I said, I can't do this. And he said, yes, you can. And I said, okay. And then I did it. Right. And it's like, I'll never forget whenever I have a like, I can't, I just remember all it takes is maybe I can. And then you physically feel yourself do it.
Mm-hmm.
It changes everything. And that's also the power of community, right? Someone sees you as like, you could do this.
And I love that
right.
you brought up community, because it's like you brought up body and community. Nancy was always in shape, ladies and gentlemen, but when she started coming to Congo and she fell in love with it, she is in extreme shape in a great way. You are the most fit, aesthetic, probably because of the yoga, because your stretches and all that. And ladies, she doesn't just lift 2.5 pounds and does yoga and bands. She's squatting the house, she's deadlifting the house, she's pushing the sled, and we lift weights. And it's all also about longevity. I was like, you gotta lift weights, so don't be afraid to pick up those weights, because it's changed, your life. And I bring up community and transformation. When you were in the Congo and you transformed that body, I feel like basically everything what you're saying is like that shift in the flip was for your next journey. And look at how your
100%.
body's transformed for Valor. You went from big power and then body transformed to a new season of your life. And the community, because like surrounds like, and look at the type of people that you brought to us, and then even the people that gravitate towards you. That's the filtering system. That's the new people. That's the new season. And then that's going to continue to happen as you grow and succeed. And you'll succeed because you don't quit. You don't stop. And that's what I tell people is like, there's never failure. So God forbid Congo went down. It didn't work. It's only a failure if you give up and never try again.
Exactly.
You didn't give up and you went through a pandemic, and you got to keep going. And, it could happen again, but are you just going to sit there and let your face get kicked in and quiver and quit? There is no tomorrow. Like, it's got to get, and that's why like the Rocky and all the stuff that you see, I know it's all manly and macho, but like everybody can draw inspiration from that. And if you just sometimes take a step back and look in Congo and look at the walls, those walls tell stories. Like, those movies tell stories. There's a reason behind all of that. It's not just because it's cool. Like, even for me, like this, there's a meaning behind this. There's a big meaning behind this. There's a big meaning behind it. That's the only hint I can give you. We'll see that episode when they see the monsters.
Okay.
For all the people out there wondering what I'm going to be for Halloween, because this episode won't be out, you just got the tea, Nancy. That is who I will be. So when this episode comes out, we're gonna have to put the drop, the secret launch, and the picture. And Jessica, my makeup artist.
Oh my God.
She's got about a 5 to 6 hour process for this one.
I can imagine.
So
I've seen what she's done in the past, and now I'm really looking forward to that.
But yeah, that's the Intights tea on the monsters. But everything has a meaning behind it, and when you have meaning and you're building a brand or you're figuring life out, you guys are doing all the right things. And it's going to grow from there, and you'll never fail because you won't quit. And I know our bloodline doesn't, and that's my flowers to you. And I hope it takes off even more.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Of course.
Thanks for being a huge part of it.
Let's get to the Greece trip.
Yes.
What is? I think Alima told me you guys have been doing this for how many years?
10.
Damn, 10 years, and it's like 2 years or 3 years in planning to do all this, right? Like each year.
Yeah,
to
each
be ahead
trip
of the
that we
curve.
do, yeah. because you got to, it depends on the trip itself, but there's so many components that go into planning one, you know? So our first one was actually to Greece 10 years ago, which is
Wow.
wild. And it was our first trip. So my business partners are named Amara DePaul and Laura Rust. Amara lives in Yachats, Oregon. Laura lives in Steamboat, Colorado. And Amara is an expert adventurer and travel planner and world traveler. And she came to Laura and I and was like, hey, let's do these yoga retreats. This was at Big. And we did our first one to Greece, and it was just, we called it a yoga retreat, and because that's what they're called. And we were there, and it was so full of life and so wild. We were like, this is not, retreat is not the right word for
Mhm.
this. It's an adventure, right? So we
Love it.
started calling it Live Alive Adventures. And we've gotten to go to all these amazing places. And when I started coming to Congo, I was telling Amara and Laura all about it. And they're like, oh, we got to partner with them. Like, we got to do something, like, let's do something together. It sounds like we could create something that has not been
Yeah.
created. So yeah, with the, depending on who you're bringing, it's got to have like the right amenities, right? If we're going to be doing, Congo style workout, it needs to have at least the right, we got very creative with the equipment
Yeah.
that we used, but it's got to have the right amount of space. It's got the rooms. Some places they're like, you find this incredible place online, but it has no air conditioning or like only queen size beds. So like everyone has to share a bed with someone they don't know. Like
Yeah.
it has to be the absolute perfect place. And with this, we wanted it to be somewhere that was like some place that people hadn't gone before, but also like close enough that they would actually go, since a lot of people we knew would be their first time. So we just did, first we thought Costa Rica, but then we couldn't find the right place and the right, like, we just, it just takes so much work. So we found this place. We started the conversation like, 2 years ago at least. And finally found this place in Greece in Amorgos, and it was awesome. Like, they only got electricity in the 80s.
Yeah.
So it was like off the beaten path and absolutely extraordinary. I mean, there's no better way to live life than waking up, getting sunlight, doing a workout with Halima, then going hiking or going out on a boat, spending time in nature, spending time with people, coming back, doing yoga, having amazing food, go to bed, do it again. It was just,
Yeah.
it was absolutely amazing.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. And, our commitment with Live Alive Adventures is similar to Valor. It's the person who's facilitating the experience is what creates, the environment's awesome. The location or the destination and the host of the experience has to be able to hold all of that energy and maintain a frequency of transformation and kindness and community and excellence and like the whole time. So y'all are like, we do not invite outside people very often to facilitate with us. But once I got to know Halima, I was like, oh yeah, like she's like, we're gonna do this together, and it's gonna be amazing.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you that trip changed her life, so I appreciate you for bringing her on and letting her spread her wings. So she was asking me about programs, and I was like, Halima, I always got your back, but I think this is one of those times and seasons where you need to go and let your star shine, like go to shine your light on these people. And remember, you're the coach, because people get it twisted. I think they think I'm the older brother out of everybody. Out of everybody. Did you know that? Did you think that at all?
At first, I did.
Okay, so
Yeah.
everybody thinks I'm the older brother, which I'm the youngest, other than Bacha. He's a mistake, but
We love Bacha.
and they think that Halima is like just new to training, but Halima was 15, well, not like 20 years of experience. She was the first one to get into training.
Yes.
And she did the whole NPC and then bodybuilding and then athletic training and just to evolve where she's at. So it's like, I think sometimes she forgets, like, this is what you do. And so that for me, I was like, go shine your light. And I think she did a tremendous job. I think she got to see clarity. She got to see vision. She got to see peace in that trip. And I bring all this up is because she was able to meet you, and she met you because of the like-mindedness that brought back into community,
Mm-hmm.
and that community brought her that opportunity, and she's come back from that and has been on.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So thank you for doing that.
Man, thank you. I mean, you're welcome. And thanks for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's an absolute blessing. I feel the same. I feel I got a total upgrade through being there with her.
And I always say, the biggest effect you have on others is how you treat the others, and, how you pay things forward, and like what you're building is people always kind of look at us and they think that thank you, Dose, thank you. But then I'm like, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you got to have that some type of humility and grace. And it's not just because I'm on a podcast and I'm saying it, but like everybody that comes to the doors, I slay. When I say thank you very much, you have a great day. Like I'm not just saying that from just because I'm trying to say it. Like I hope you do. I hope that you drove however far you drove. Some people drive 55 minutes an hour to come to Congo and pay that money. That we were able to do that. And I know that when you were going through it, Congo transformed your mentality
Mm-hmm.
to achieve what you wanted. And like that's the other thing I talk about, the price. You can't put a price on the networking circle and how everybody that's come into that place, the stories I hear of like, because of Congo, my business did this. Because
Yes.
of this, I was able to do this. And or because of my divorce or because of my breakup, Congo saved me from doing this. And it's like that's the community you're building too with where you guys are at. Because I seen it firsthand with my sister. Like that was your community. That was your touch. That was your thing. So just keep on going with that and know that if you ever feel that way, you are changing people's lives. And I know we don't sometimes, when we're the strong ones or we're trying to do more, be better, push more, we don't ever sit back and be like, you know what? I did change that person's life. We did do that. Pat in the back. Guess what though? You gotta wake up and do it again.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. Okay, good job. And now what? And
Yes.
to your point, yeah, it's like to anyone who comes to Valor, it's like I would not get to do what I love to do if it weren't for you coming and paying, like you paying me this $40, right? Someone like it's we all work together,
Yeah.
right? I always say like when we are living from a certain type of place, right? Like I get to be the answer to your prayer, you get to be the answer to mine. Like when we really get to see each other and support each other, like we've all got different gifts. We're all going through different challenges, and our gifts can always support each other through someone else's challenge.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree 1000%. Nancy, what's the future for Valor? What do you got plans? You got anything you want to announce coming up or staying low key?
Yeah, so I'll say the next thing I want to announce is if you want to come on a retreat with us, we're going to Panama in February, and that's a yoga, surfing, and leadership development retreat. So that's in January. So that'll be
Okay.
super fun. And as far as Valor goes, we've got a bunch of really exciting stuff
Okay.
in the works
Okay.
that
I can tell.
that I'm
I felt
really
the
excited
energy.
about. Yeah. And our vision is one location, right? Like, and continue to improve it and like just have it be pure magic and artistry and authenticity and just like something so special, and then scale that out virtually. So that's the overall vision, and there's lots of different ways that that's going to come to fruition.
And it will. And
Yeah.
just hold the line, believe in what you believe in. Don't waver. Listen to the people that you want to actually take advice from. Maybe listen to the people that are saying no, and then just sit back and let it watch happen. Because, I mean, you're in the right path and just keep going. And you mentioned the facilities and stuff. Even like with us, like you have to still maintain what made Valor.
Mm-hmm.
You have to still maintain what made Congo. So like there's this interesting thought in my head, like, okay, Congo gym now is way bigger. It's a bigger concept, but we still gotta have that romantic feel.
I'm so excited to
Oh,
see
it's
it.
gonna be sick.
I'm
It's-
so excited.
yeah, I tell people that I'm close with, and now you're on the podcast. It's like Congo was great. It's probably like something you've never seen before, and it hasn't. But it's like what we're about to do to this next space is like never been done, and just the attention to details. It's Congo on steroids, and in a good way. Sometimes people get talking and franchise and big this. We're not franchise or anything, but like bigger is not always better.
Yes.
But it was needed for this, and we were so blessed to just be able to tell people no. And we talked about that earlier, how you were shutting down people, and I'm just thankful for everybody and my family. And it takes a village. It takes a village for you. And man, Congo is about to take. I mean, it already has taken over Houston, but what we're about to create, something special.
I'm so excited. Like I know that y'all are. I just can't even wait.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna be so
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
So Nancy, thank you for coming on the episode.
6.
Well, how do you think Nai did?
Naeem killed it.
You did
Yeah,
do a great
super
job.
present, like holding space, attentive. You checked the camera when you said you were gonna check the camera. Like make eye contact's awesome. Yeah, a great space holder.
I hope when everybody listening to this today, you found belief in yourself to go for things that are beyond than what you see. Because I tell people, man, if you can't see through the unseen, how do you expect the things that you're asking for? So please go after your dreams. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Nancy, are you going to take a shot number 2 or you're going to hold off? You don't have to.
I think I'm good with one.
Okay, she's good with one. But
Where'd it go?
would you like some mango?
A little bit. I'll take a little bit of mango since, you know.
She's going with the mango. I'm going with the shot. There you go, just a little one. Oh,
The mango is my favorite.
this is so nice of you guys. She's probably like, man, I've never seen Dose drink in his life. I've never seen
I know, now 2 shots in one day. It's awesome.
Justin knows some things about me. Isn't that right, Justin? All right, episode 6. Nancy, thank you for coming on. Salute.
Salute. Thanks for
Congo
having
versus
me.
the world. Valor versus the world. Like, subscribe, share. And if you're not down with that, I know I got 2 words for you. We'll see if she chimes in. Suck it! Like, subscribe, share. Daily Dose, episode 6.
Namaste.